Hey friends, we need to talk passive income. All of us want to make money when we're not actually working. That's the whole dream. That's the whole bit. Well, it's one of my goals this year to make digital products a consistent part of my income stream. There's so much knowledge and information I feel like I have that I really want to share, and digital products is making the most sense for me right now, besides offering you these podcast episodes. One of the downfalls of digital products is that they tend to be information heavy and not action based. That's why I make each and every digital product that I create action based, because you don't need more information. What you need is more action. In this episode, I want to share with you, or if you will, expose what I'm doing to make digital products a consistent part of my monthly income. So for starters, I partnered with Maddie Garrett, who's actually been on this podcast before, and spoiler alert, she's coming on again, and she will be back to talk about the power of digital products. So if this episode kind of inspires you, don't worry, there's already more coming. It's already been filmed and recorded, and I anticipate it coming out early May on digital products and all the background, behind the scenes stuff about them. She is an amazing person, and I highly recommend connecting with her and consuming her content. She's also releasing a podcast soon. She's motivating, relatable, down to earth, and a rare gem, to be honest. So anything Maddie puts out, I just know is going to be gold. And side note, she has an incredible UGC program that is out there literally changing lives. I'm a part of it right now, and I'm having so much fun making content, building my portfolio, pitching brands. It's just it's so fun. If you want to join UGC or have questions about her program, please reach out to me. I have people in my DMs asking me questions about her program all the time. I would love to answer them for you as well. And I say this because I can get you a discount to her program. So if you are interested in learning about UGC, for me, I'd been interested in learning about it for 2 years. And then I finally did it. Am doing it, I should say. But if you're interested in her program, seriously reach out to me because I can save you money. Anyway, Maddie and I worked together for 6 weeks to create and develop a digital product for my audience and business. Having the accountability alone was life-changing. I'm a person who is deadline-oriented. If there's a deadline, I'm there. Having somebody there waiting for me every Thursday with my homework ready to come to say that I completed it was exactly what I needed, and it's still honestly what I need. So I am going to be bringing back my coworking sessions. If you have been hanging out with me since last year, I used to run coworking sessions once a month. I think maybe twice a month, honestly, maybe once a week. I can't remember, but it was a time for you to come when you were available, sit down, and get work done in an uninterrupted environment. And after doing this program with Maddie, I'm I freaking need more co-working sessions myself. I just need to get done the stuff that needs to get done. If you want to also co-work with me and other travel creators in a community, I have a link in the show notes for you to sign up to get alerts when our next session is going out. You can also let me know on Instagram what day of the week you prefer, or if there is a general time frame that works best for you. I know it's difficult to try and wrangle everybody in all over the world in different time zones and places into one little Zoom call, but I've done it before. We can do it again, and it's just an opportunity for you to have the accountability to get shit done, because I need it just as much as you. Okay, back to digital products. So the first thing I did was I started by looking at the freebies I already have that people have been responding well to. I love newsletters and newsletter creation because I believe they're so powerful. I know they are so powerful, and I actually have a free newsletter template, which, by the way, some of you have already downloaded and used, and I knew when I was looking at this digital product venture that people kept downloading the newsletter template. I've had that offer out for 2 years, and people consistently continue to download it. So I wanted to funnel people into a newsletter service or another newsletter related offer, because I already knew my audience was responding well to newsletter creation. And that's a very, very important note that we actually get into in Maddie's new episode with me coming out very soon, the importance of validating a product idea before just launching something and then being I hope it works. So If you don't already have a freebie that people are continuously downloading, keep in mind the topics of content that people frequently respond to when you post, or maybe even the frequently asked questions you get. This is important, like I said, because we need to validate that you have an idea that people in your audience actually want to hear from you about. But what's also important is that you love the topic of the digital product, because it's so much harder to sell something if you're feeling very mid about it. If you're not into it, your audience can definitely tell. But if you have questions about creating a digital product, or even what that could be for you and how that can fit into your content strategy as a travel creator, let me know. We can schedule a one-on-one session to get you through that and selling your digital product. So after validating my freebie or my offer or my lead magnet, if you will, that would get my audience further interested and farther down my funnel, I brainstormed what the actual digital product could be. Of course, this had to relate to the freebie. So my freebie was about newsletters, so I knew my product was going to be newsletter related. So I didn't want to put someone down a path about newsletters and then turn around and be like, surprise, you're gonna get fed something about content repurposing. So I decided on a 7-day newsletter challenge, which, by the way, you can go and get it right now. It's linked below for you. And over the course of 7 days, it sends you an email once a day with instructions on what to do, with the goal at the end of being able to press send on your newsletter to a group of subscribers who love you. Newsletters really, really can be that simple. And the link to get your newsletter off your back burner, you can find below. So now that I had an idea for my product, I created a new freebie to funnel people through to purchase my digital product. Easier said than done. And that lead magnet, so I had previously the free newsletter template, and I still have that. You can still go download it, but I created an updated new freebie still related to newsletters. And that freebie was a YouTube video on how to create a consistent newsletter. Another side note here, if you remember my episode on the why long form content is king, well, I took those masterclass slides and I turned them into a podcast episode on how to create a consistent newsletter. That is literally the power of long form content being used in so many ways. So after I wrote out the masterclass, I headed to Canva and I created slides, and I actually recorded it right in Canva, and I uploaded it to CapCut to clean it up a little bit, and then I uploaded it to my YouTube channel. In the description of the video on YouTube, I added a link to the challenge, so if people were watching it, they were like, yes, I want to buy this immediately, they can do that. Also, in the description, I put a link to my Instagram in case somebody wanted to ask me a question about the challenge, as well as just my email address, again, for questions and things like that. So now becomes the part of the puzzle where I need to create a form for the digital product. Essentially, I need to build out the behind the scenes of the funnel creators will go through to actually purchase the product, get nurtured, all the bits. So I use Kit for this. I love Kit. Plus, I was already paying for it, so I'm a big believer in let's just not use 1 bajillion tools, and let's use something I'm already using and loving and giving money to. So that was ideal for me. If you want to try Kit, again, I have a link in the description below for you. I think it's so much more than just an email sending software. It's truly like a creator resource. It's awesome. I then created a stand store for Instagram DM automations. I know a lot of creators who build everything and sell everything on Stand Store, which is great, but for me, I wanted to build my product on a platform I was already using and paying for and felt more integrated with my website and my overall brand, and that happened to be Kit. I wanted it to feel like my travel content writing website and not just like another third-party app you were landing on. So what I am using Stand Store for is their DM automations, meaning someone comments a word, they get DM'd a link to the masterclass, they watch the masterclass, then they get 3 days of nurtured emails, and then they can purchase the digital product, but they also have the opportunity to purchase the digital product in any of those 3-day emails. But I didn't want somebody just to get the link from my DMs on Instagram, like they come to the word, they get DM'd a link. I didn't want them to just go right to the masterclass. I needed to capture their email addresses. so that I could add them to my funnel, which I just described to you. So I created a sign-up form on Kit that redirects to the masterclass on YouTube. After capturing their name and email addresses, that is where the money is made, right there. Once they watched the masterclass, they were added to a 3-day email sequence, which, like it sounds, sends them 1 email per day for 3 days, warming them up to the challenge and giving them more information on why they should join and why this is for them, they've made it this far, etc. After writing that 3-day content, I went to Kit to set up an automation. Essentially, I set up the form that was collecting their email addresses to directly link to an automation of an email sequence. So once somebody signed up in a form, they got added to the masterclass email funnel, and then automatically it would send those emails out to the people who watched the masterclass so that I wasn't having to keep track of anything. The automation in more detail, so it started with the form creators would fill out when they registered for the masterclass. Then the 3-day post masterclass sequence, then the purchase of the 7-day challenge. If they didn't purchase, they would leave the automation. If they purchased before the 3-day emails were over, they would skip ahead in the automation and be sent directly to the email sequence that has the entire 7-day challenge. So if somebody purchased the 7-day challenge on day 2 of the 3-day emails post masterclass, then they wouldn't get the day 3 of emails selling them the masterclass they already just bought. You know, it's kind of the worst feeling ever when you like buy something and then you still get emails telling you should like buy the thing. It's like, I already bought the thing. Annoying. What I'm not telling you is how much time this took me. Like, me sitting here reading this all out to you makes it seem really, really simple. And honestly, it can be very simple. It is simple, but it is not easy and it is time consuming. It just takes a lot of time to put things like this together. And it's totally worth it, but that's why we need the accountability and why I am determined to bring back these co-working sessions, because it took me it took me over the course of 6 weeks, really, to put this whole thing together. And in total number of hours, it probably took me between 20 and 30 hours. So could you sit down and do this all in 1 week? Absolutely. But when you are writing digital products, you need space away from it. And I noticed this, to double check yourself to make sure that the funnels are actually funneling and the automation makes sense, and to test it, to purchase it and test it and make sure things are working and it's actually connected to your bank account and all of the things. It takes time to do that. It takes time to actually build the content, to build what you're going to say in the email funnel, to then think of a social media strategy. Like, it's not just creating the product and then asking people to sell it, but in some ways it is. Some ways it is so simple, but it's not always super easy. So what I did do while I was writing down, going through the process of creating this product, I wrote down like what I was doing or like how things were working together, so that the next time I want to go replicate this digital product, I already have like all of the funnels written down and I can just quickly glance at this Google Doc of reminders of like what I created first or like where things were linking, so that I can just replicate it again and I'm not starting from scratch. Because I decided to do a 7-day challenge, it definitely took me a lot longer because I had to create 9 emails. So you sign up, you get a confirmation email, woohoo, we're getting started. Then an hour later, the first email comes. And then at the very end of the challenge is another like follow-up email. So I was creating more content than just the 7-day emails. But also if you were creating like a PDF or like a video, that will hopefully take you less time than creating like 7 to 9 beautifully crafted emails. Also, mine is, like I said, super jam-packed with action. So some of the days have like literally, it's so long. Like the email is so long and full of screenshots. So because of that, I also created a PDF of every single day's like homework or assignment you get in the email. Because sometimes for people, like scrolling through a long email is like not the vibe and they'd rather just open a PDF and see it all there. So that was an extra step that I took to make sure like my users were having a good experience, because I want them to have a good experience with this one digital product so that they will come back for more when I have more to share about this digital product. If you take nothing away from this, I would say 3 things. I would say validate your product before you start creating it. 2, you should make sure that you spend more time on this product than you think you might need. And 3, I would not overcomplicate it. So maybe don't listen to step number 2 or tip number 2 here. But I would let people in your community know what you're creating, share about it as you're creating, write down the steps you're taking so you can duplicate it for next time. Let me know what digital products you are creating. I would love to take a look at them. I would love to subscribe to your newsletters. I love to do that. So please leave me a little message on Instagram at Travel Content Writing, and I will see you so soon. Happy digital product creating and happy passive income. I will see you next week.